Breaking news is our senior insider, Charania, who has more out of Milwaukee. Shams, what more can you tell us about Giannis?
Malika, sources tell me that Giannis Antetokounmpo is expected to return tonight at home against the Boston Celtics after missing over 5 weeks with the right calf strain, the second right calf strain he had in over a 1 month span, and the fourth calf strain he's had in just under 2 years. But Giannis was adamant about coming back, returning to the lineup for the Bucks and trying to get this team as many wins as possible. And internally, my understanding is John Horst, the general manager, and Doc Rivers, the head coach, have been steadfast that they believe this team can contend in the East if they can get into the playoffs. They're 26-33, 3 games behind the 10th seed right now out of the play-in slot. They've got the Celtics tonight, a critical game against the Hawks, who are directly ahead of them on Wednesday. This is a franchise right now that is full steam ahead in trying to get into the play-in spot.
Yeah, we got to get into the play-in spot before we talk about making noise in the Eastern Conference. Shams, going up against the Boston Celtics, as you mentioned, do we have any idea of if Giannis is he going to be limited, minutes restriction, anything that we should be looking for towards tonight and moving forward?
Given the first time that he had this same injury earlier in the year, there was a minutes restriction. There was they paid close attention to that, and the fact that it's his fourth in just under 2 years, the Bucks will be careful with it. But Giannis has been of the mindset that he wants to do everything he can to try to will this team into the play-in.
Yeah, Giannis told me at the All-Star break, I'm healthy, I'm ready to go. I just need to get a couple reps under his belt. It was delayed a little bit more than that, but now Giannis on his way back. Shams, thank you so very much for that insight. As Shams mentioned, the Bucks, they go into play tonight. They're 3 games back of the Hornets. Hey, Hornets, for the final spot in the play-in in the East. They're 2 out in the loss column from both 9 and 10 here. I'm joined by our senior writers, Brian Windhorst, Tim McMahon, and Ramona Shelburne here. All right, Brian, I'm going to start with you. We hear that the Bucks are saying that they think they can make some noise, but let's just start with what they need to do over the next few weeks. What are you looking for from Milwaukee?
Well, they've gone 8-7 the 15 games that Giannis missed. They were in 11th place when he got hurt. They're still in 11th place. So by winning those games in that stretch, they've given themselves a chance to get in the play-in. Really, their goal would need to be to get to 7 or 8, so you avoid having to win 2 play-in games. But look, like in a league where so many teams are tanking, you have to respect when a team's trying to win. Unfortunately for them, the teams in front of them are all doing that. There's no tanking teams in front of them.
We made it 3 minutes before we said the T word.
The one team tanking teams in front of them was the Bulls, and they dropped it down. But I will say that the thing about when you look at the Bucks, their hope is to improve their team. You know, they've got it right now. Point. If the lottery was tonight, they would have a 3% chance to get the #1 pick and a 13% chance to get in the top 3. That is better than the Mavericks had last year when they won the Cooper Flag lottery. So, like, maybe they feel like their chances wouldn't have increased. I don't see how they materially improve their team by not trying to get a higher draft pick. But again, I respect a team that's trying to win, so go do it. I'm not sure to what end, but this is what Giannis wants. This is what they're going to do.
This is what Giannis wants, and he's determined to play. I mean, he said it to you. He said, I think I'm 100%, and I think he would love nothing more than to get into that play-in tournament. We can all talk about the odds and whether they should be trying to win or not. It's better if they get a better draft pick, but it upsets the basketball gods. And I think when you're trying to convince, by the way, they are still trying to convince him to stay. I know we've talked about a trade the whole time, but because they didn't trade him, there is an opportunity, and I know they've discussed this in Milwaukee, to try to improve the team in the offseason so that Giannis feels more comfortable staying. And then we get to October when they can put a max contract in front of him and dare him not to sign it.
And what's the most valuable asset that the Bucks would have to improve the team in the offseason? It would be a lottery pick. And I hate to be hypocritical because we have been very critical of the tanking epidemic, right? There's a tanking epidemic because that's the smartest strategy. This is not in the Bucks' best long-term interest. We're not going to pretend that the Bucks have a chance in hell of doing anything in the Eastern Conference playoffs this year. They can pretend that in Milwaukee. No, stop it. Stop it. No. The Bucks do not have any chance of doing anything. They're not going to win. they're not going to win a single playoff game. I will say that right now.
I mean, yesterday's game, I would agree with you. But they were 6-4 at Bryant's.
The season.
Well, when Giannis comes back, let's not forget he's averaging 28 points in 29 minutes.
That could be a rallying call, Malika. We could play that video clip in a couple of months. I don't know.
This is going to end up on the Jumbotron. By the way, 65% from the field here. All right, so that's the Milwaukee
Center. Giannis Antetokounmpo is expected to return for the Bucks tonight against the Celtics after missing over 5 weeks with a right calf strain, sources told ESPN's Charania. Giannis is averaging 28 and 10 this season for a Milwaukee team that is currently 3 games outside of the play-in in the East. Sports betting analyst Joe Fortenbaugh here with me right now. And Joe, with the news of Giannis returning, how are you betting this Bucks-Celtics game later on?
I am always a big fan of fading. That means to bet against. Fading teams that have a star player coming back from a lengthy absence. There's a big effect to the point spread, and then on top of it, the team could be out of sync. So we're going to play the Celtics here minus the 2.5. Let's start with the point spread. Was 7.5. Then the news that Giannis is in drops it all the way to 2.5. Now we want to talk about the team being out of sync. Milwaukee quietly has figured it out on offense. Since February 3rd, they've played 12 games. During that stretch, they are number 9 in the NBA in offensive efficiency. They've been playing really well. Now, that's not to say Giannis is going to ultimately be worse off for them coming back, but that first game back, limited minutes, you're a little bit out of sync. You're playing a Boston team that's 10-3 against the number over their last 13, and on top of that, 6th in defensive efficiency. We like the Celtics tonight.
Yeah, it might take a little bit for Giannis to get his footing, but I feel like a double-double anyway. He could just wake up.
Casually.
Yeah, casually. Double-double.
You know, lose by 3 or more.
No worries. Joe Fortenbaugh with the latest, hanging out with us for just a little bit more. Thanks.
There's a reason Fortenbaugh is so familiar with what fading is. In the NBA, we're in the stretch run. The Western Conference standings going to be fun to watch after the T-Wolves beat the Nuggets yesterday, 117-108. Minnesota leaped Denver for the 4 seed. First time Minnesota has beaten Denver in 4 tries this season, sweeping its 3-game road trip. Tim McMahon now with us. Nikola Jokic, the Nuggets 5-8 since the former MVP has returned to the lineup. So Timmy Mack, what's the deal with them? What's his status? How's he looking?
Well, I asked Joker the other night in OKC how he was feeling physically. Very quickly, he said, really good, and he did not elaborate. I don't speak Serbian, but I believe that translates to I don't want to talk about it. And he missed a month because of that knee, but I am told by people with the Nuggets that the bigger concern is actually his shooting wrist, and this is something that he's dealt with on and off for the last few years. Some days he wakes up and it feels fine. Some days it is extremely stiff. You know, you've seen him shoot less than 50% from the floor 6 times in the last 12 games. That is shocking for a player who is as historically efficient as Joker. So that wrist is definitely something that is a concern for the Nuggets, whether Joker wants to admit it or not.
Yeah, 5-8 is a bit of a surprising record as well. You'd think it'd be the other way around, 8-5, maybe at worst, with a player of his caliber coming back to the lineup. But speaking of coming back to the lineup, player of MVP caliber, Steph Curry, 10 games missed. What's his status?
Well, it's going to be at least another week and a half, the Warriors announced, and you know that knee just isn't responding the way that they're hoping. Obviously, they'd love to get Steph back on the court ASAP, but more than a sense of urgency, there's an understanding that he has to be healthy. Forget playoff time, come play-in time if there's going to be playoffs for the Warriors. And they do have a little bit of gap in terms of they're unlikely for them to move up from that 8th spot. There is a gap of the teams beneath him, but again, if Steph's not completely right come play-in time, then you're looking at a lottery team with the Warriors, and they understand that.
I mean, and the line is that slim, Timmy Mack. You know that. Like, it brings Steph back. Who knows? Don't have him. They may not make it in. Tim McMahon with us throughout the stretch run of the NBA.